Hello and welcome to another episode of Tartan Skirmish. This time we're going to be sitting discussing the recent Nerfmania Foxtrot event. Uh, Joined this evening, working around my screen, we've got Blind Geek to the right of me, or to the left of me, whichever one it is. He's waving just now. Down below me, looking like a member of Queen, we've got Boneheed, and the last one is Samwise, who's one of the newer players we've got. Okay, now Adams spoke a lot about who he is and what he does in the previous episode, but I'll let Boneheed go first, and then Sam, you want to give a sort of potted history of how you came into the hobby.
Yeah, so I'm Boneheed. I started attending events. It was Adam's Charlie event, I believe that was in the summer of last year. Originally got into Nerf for my nephews about a year and a half ago. Bought a couple of blasters, and then just the crushing debt began. But I'm now about 8 or 9 events in. Adam will probably confirm. So I'm now considered a regular, apparently, but yeah, I've been asked to give my view on someone who's relatively new to the hobby, but has now got some games under his belt.
Samwise, you want to go next, man?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been to this is my fourth event that I've gone to. Um, I simply got into it because my friend was looking to sell his Nerf blasters, and instead someone convinced him to go to an event and decided to drag me along with him. Simply because he asked, and I was interested to play with Nerf guns again.
Can't imagine who that was.
Oh, has he been on a previous one, has he?
No, it was me who convinced.
Oh, you convinced him. Oh, okay. There we go. So
Adam is the convincer.
I
yeah,
am the root of all evil.
that's where we need to point
Yeah.
play. But no, I had fun. I can't remember what the first one we went to
So
was.
you've done Bristol Blast,
Yes, Bristol
Um,
Blast.
and you did Grim Nerf,
Yep,
and you've done the Caves,
yep, Christmas Caves, and then the
and then now you've done Nerfmania.
yes.
So all your
Alright.
games have been about one duel,
Yeah,
mostly CQB.
yes.
Okay, so Adam, you want to talk us through what Nerfmania Foxtrot was, please?
Okay, yep. Nerfmania is an event I started running last year as a result of the Foundry closing. I love live calls were funny. So the Foundry closed late 2022. I went on a hunt for a new venue. I'd ruled out this site a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, because I didn't think it was going to be big enough. Went for a look around, having watched a YouTube video of it, and thought, YouTube looks a bit small. Went in and was just blown away by the layout. So we ran 5 events last year. It's a laser tag site which is set up kind of like almost a small village. You've got a train, a tank, a fortress, a couple of other rooms and buildings. And you've got kind of a left flank and a right flank, quite open. So from a Nerf point of view, it's a mixture of fairly close range combat, especially around like House of Pain, but also quite a long open shot thing. So you can shoot from one end of the arena all the way to the other if you've got the right kind of blaster. So from a gear point of view, it's you can go either way. You can go for those long range shots and sit further back, or you can go up close and personal. And we've tended to run previously around the 130 mark, 130 FPS, which was the Brit Nerf standard at the time. But obviously, everyone's gear has kind of creeped up, especially with things like the VX shot, long shot coming out. So this time we ran it at a 150 or one joule limit. So 145, 147-ish with shot darts, with 1 gram dart. So there's a slight difference this event where that played into it. So the idea of Foxtrot, first event of 2024, it was a kind of a private invite announced on Discord. Immediate reaction from nearly 20 people straight away on Discord of, yeah, let's get this sorted. So it didn't go out to the public. And and I think we ended up with 22 players, from Stu popping in at the last moment, and then Jen coming in for a game or two. 22 is possibly a bit too many players for that venue. 18 is probably a better one, because otherwise you can get bogged down on the flank. But yeah, that's Nerfmania in a kind of a nutshell. Foxtrot. There are maps online that I've kind of sketched out. So you've got multiple buildings down each side, multiple buildings down center. Some of those have multiple entrances, some don't. Like I say, nice lines of sight across the whole venue.
Okay, so we done some different formats for games. This one,
Yep.
I think the plan, as we said, was to sort of go through each one. Adam, I think you sort of start off by giving us a little bit of an overview of what the thing was, and then we can have a wee bit of a chat about how each of the rounds went. On you go.
So first game type was Trophy Hunter, so a new game type for us. So I'd picked up some tag rugby belts where you can pull them off with Velcro. And so I decided to do a kill confirmed variant using those. So rather than just having a single life, and that kind of, we'd done kill confirmed a few times, and it got a bit stale, where people didn't really kind of push forward to climb the tags. So by having the tag rugby belts, it gave you 3 lives. And we also gave out a prize, so a fib grenade, fancy impact blasters grenade, for the person who climbed the most tags, to kind of encourage that risk taking, that pushing forward. It worked, well, from my point of view, it worked really well. I really liked the physicality of pulling those tags off people to claim the trophy that you killed them. And having been on red team, I was originally meant to be blue team, but I'd messed up my numbers somewhere. So I went on red team, which meant I got to play with N7 and Tartan Tag. And one of the things, if you end up playing with those, you know they work really well as a team. And I personally think I work really well with Spectre as well. I've played with him quite a few times. I've played against him a lot of times. It's one of the things I like to try and mix it up so I get on different teams. So he got the most trophies. But a lot of that was down to the fact of really good teamwork. So I was alongside him, hand on him to making sure he's getting in if he was tagged. So from my point of view, I really enjoyed that game type. Kill confirmed, I'm a bit so-so on it. Whereas this, because you had those 3 lives, I just felt it worked really nicely.
I didn't actually play in that round. I was busy having a minor, chicken head moment running around trying to get the cameras set up for everybody. But where the live system came into play during Bomb Run, and I can certainly say from Bomb Run, having the 3 lives, yeah, you could be a bit more aggressive, because if you've only got 1, you are going to naturally hang back, okay? Because all you need to do is get 1 stray round, and that's you're sitting out. Now I don't mind, because I can go take photographs, okay? But for other people, that's certainly something that it could reduce the amount of enjoyment they can have. And as a first event, it can certainly make you think, "Ooh, wait a minute," because you can easily get taken out. Oh no! You walk around the first corner, you're coming out the biotech building, you go past the hospital, and the stray round catches you, and guess what? You're sitting out for the next 15 minutes, okay? And one of the great strengths of the Nerf format games that we tend to play in the UK is that you have quick respawns. Okay, you don't sit out unless it's a very specific game time. Usually, the downtime, your downtime is you walk back, you hit the wall, you respawn point, you're back in. You're maybe reloading a magazine if you're particularly fast on the respawn back. Okay, Samwise, what are you thinking? What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, I've in terms of the Trophy Hunter game mode and the lives in the Bomb Rush, I do quite enjoy that as well because, of course, if you've got infinite lives, like we did in some of the game modes, which they suited, you do just end up just running back and forth, and it does feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. Whereas, as you said, with lives, you feel a bit more risk to anything you do, which I quite enjoy that because it gives another element of play to focus on. And as you say, the less lives you have, the more careful you start to play. So obviously, the first life you charge out there and realize that that was probably a mistake, and your last life you spend carrying in a corner somewhere, hoping nobody sees you. But I quite enjoyed that as well. I've never done kill confirmed at any of the events before, so I don't have anything
So
to reference that. Is it just
it's
like
not-
a one life
Yeah, and
trigger?
it's
Yeah.
not too popular in Britain because we prefer games where you don't
Yeah.
sit out. I'm one of a few organisers who do run it on a regular basis.
Yeah,
But
no,
it's not that your entire event is organised around kill confirmed formats. It's
yeah, no,
one,
I
and
just
therefore
I've
it's a bit of seasoning, you know.
yeah, I've never had the chance to, but from what it sounds like, it does sound like. I mean, yes, you could with Trophy Hunter lose all 3 of your lives in like the first 2 minutes. It'd be impressive, but
Modge got 2 of mine within minutes of each other.
Yeah, Spectre got 2 of mine in about 30 seconds.
yeah.
So yeah.
So you could still end up sat on the sideline, but it does give you more chances. You don't get like suddenly flanked when you didn't realize it, and that's it. You're out of the game. So I did quite enjoy that.
Now, just in case any of our viewers are actually wondering what would be the obvious question, which is, are you immune to incoming tags whilst you're actually retrieving a tag off another person or not?
I think we said you weren't. And
Yeah.
I've got a feeling Spectre got caught at least once trying around the House of Pain doing that.
I
'Cause
know,
I was behind him as he got tagged. So
I was watching a video back, there was a point where it was just Self and Frodo sitting on the ground, and
Yes.
Red came in, and he got tagged, and then Boys just came in and went, "Thank you." No,
got
yeah,
3 of us within seconds.
I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty sharp there. Brendan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it does make a nice change from, as Adam said, the normal kill confirmed. It does tend to be, if you get unlucky, you get tagged, and then you get your kill confirmed. That's it, your game's done. So you did have a little bit more flexibility. I went out really soon on that one because I do tend to just go in Leroy Jenkins and get myself killed really quickly, which is, the headless chicken play style is what I do best. But I did get some good tags on a couple of people. As I say, Spectre got me twice within 30 seconds, and I think my last life was just doing something stupid. But it gives a bit of difference from the just constantly respawn, going in, getting killed in the same place again, because you do, if you're more tactically minded than I am, you as Samwise says, you cherish that last life and you sort of hide in a corner and get a bit more tactical. So yeah, definitely think that the rugby tags were a more a fairer way of doing it, and a way of extending the game a little bit more. But normal kill confirmed, I'm a little bit torn on it. It's good in the sense that you have to be a bit more tactical, but at the same time, I can appreciate if you get taken out early doors, that's it, you're done for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's certainly something that I would, to anybody who's interested into it, I would say try it. It's something where if you're playing with older players, I think older players will appreciate it. Okay, I think younger players will not like the idea of having to sit out and do naught for 15 minutes, okay, or however long it is. But I think the older players will appreciate, all right, I got tagged out. I'll tell you what, I'll just go back and reload all my magazines in preparation for next round, or
normally what happens.
Yeah, or I'll go do something else, or you can actually effectively use that time as opposed to a young one checking their phone for Twitter or whatever else it is that they do nowadays. Now, next up, Island of Dr. Moreau. Adam?
Yep. So this originally started as team deathmatch, just pure team deathmatch. So we have life counter buttons produced by Sturdy Nerfmania. So nice big briefcases, big display, big button, team coloured. Press it, makes a buzz. counter goes up. They're a bit fancier in that they can go up or down, and you can do pulse mode, so you just hold it down and go super fast. But we had them on simple count up mode. The idea is get shot, you go back to his base, hit the button, you respawn. So it is that infinite lives, and it's who loses the least lives over a certain amount of time. But for hold the front page, I got some 3D printed DNA vials done, and I didn't get to use them, so I wanted to use them. So I had this really silly idea of, well, you find a vial and that makes you immune. And then it's like, well, how does it make you immune? How do you know when you're immune? So I thought, well, I'll strap my pinger counters to them. And they looked silly, and it didn't work because I'd set pretty much all of them to 1 minute, and 1 minute in a 10-minute game in that size venue was a long time. I picked one up in the first 10 seconds, and I gave up after about 20 seconds because I'd walked up, killed them, walked around, killed them, walked around, killed them.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that game type. The other thing, I called it Island of Dr. Moreau because when you picked up this vial and were immune, you were meant to make an animal noise. So you'll hear, I think, me, at least on the video, quacking because, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, there is
It's not one of my events if somebody's not quacking.
there's Mojo running around making, I don't know what it was doing.
I think snake noises.
Yeah. And then there's you going quack, 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 and just standing on front of the camera, as you usually do, mugshot style, just unloading into them with abandonment. It was just funny to see it. Now, Brendan, thoughts on Island of Dr. Moreau?
Yeah, I was victim of Adam during that little rampage. I think he got me twice. He got me on the first run past, and then just as I was respawning, he got me again. So maybe the vials weren't, maybe different timers would have probably worked a little bit better. General feeling for the game, though, a team deathmatch is always good fun because there's lots of foam flying, there's lots of targets aiming at you. So yes, you're going to get tagged, and yes, you're probably going to get tagged yourself. But the whole point of playing with Nerf blasters is to shoot at people and get tags. So I like that game mode. Again, a couple of tweaks that I'm sure Adam's aware of on the timers would have probably improved it, but it's a good old fashioned team deathmatch, and obviously animal noises always improves the game. So yeah, I enjoyed that one.
As a game type, I really like team deathmatch until my kill to death ratio goes the wrong way. And I had it on Saturday where I went out, I fired half a mag, didn't hit anyone, got hit, went back. Went out of spawn, got hit, went back. Went out the other end, went up towards the tower, got hit. And I'm like, well, I haven't killed anyone, I've just lost 3 lives. Pressed my button, respawned, went onto the other flank, got 5 people in one go, and it's like, yes, I've pulled it back, and then got tagged 3 times in a row. So I love team deathmatch from that point of trying to maintain your own kill death ratio and knowing that others in the team are having the same experience. And from going back to like the Foundry days, in Foundry days, you might only ever get down one flank 2/3 of the way, and you never knew what was going on in the rest of the maze. And I always found that really terrifying because I had no idea what my teammates were experiencing. So as a game type, I love it. But the Island of Dr. Moreau variant, no.
Sam?
I mean, I never actually got to use one of the vials because the only time I ever actually spotted one of them, it was the ones for the enemy team. So I just sort of treated it like it was
They were next to each other.
I know they were next to each other. The only time I actually spotted one that was for our team was when we were playing I think it was the zombies game mode, and I was like, that's a bit late. But no, as you said with the timers, I think like 5-10 seconds would have been enough.
Yeah.
Because as you say, yeah, you were just like walking. I think I was trying to run around the tent to not get shot by you, but I don't think it actually worked out. But no, I mean, I did like the idea of it because it does add a bit of like it spices up the standard team deathmatch a bit. I don't really know what else you could do to other than like shortening the times on it. But I still enjoyed it. It was still a laugh.
I think the team counters were a big success. Those counters were
Yes,
good.
oh
'cause it
yeah,
was
yeah. I
much
think
easier
we
to kind of
had
work out who'd won.
we had very similar things at they're not similar. They were just like clicker counters, but at was it gun? I can't remember which one it was, but we had a thing where we just hit a thing. It was just click counting up.
Don't
but
forget Big Gun.
I
We
can't
had
remember
one of
which
them
one
at
it was.
one of the Kill Factory events.
Yeah.
I
Might have been
can't remember
Caves.
where. Yeah, yes, Caves did have something like that. Yes, it might have been Caves. But it is nice because you get back to your base, and then especially if you can see like your losing points, I guess your total deaths. But it's what would be cool. Don't know if how easy this would be to do is so you can see the
other
enemy teams as
well.
well. And
Yes.
I don't know how.
You
Simple,
could
but-
with Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Or wireless mesh. It's something
Yeah.
I've looked into and never got further than a sketch.
Yeah, it's an idea, but as you say, it's like, is it easily doable or affordable to do so without spending £200 on it or something
Yeah, it's
for
a
some
cost-prohibitive
wireless thing.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah, no, so that was the only idea I really had about the sort of deathmatch modes. But I did enjoy the Island of Moreau.
I did. I enjoyed it too. I genuinely think that the Juggernaut mechanic works if you were to dramatically shorten the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam, what's the time on the pinger? Is it like, does it go as low as 10 seconds?
You can do from 1 second upwards.
Cool. I think if you were to do like a 10-second,
Yeah.
or 2 seconds, one of these damn pop-up things here. If you were to do like 10 seconds, because that's enough for you to
get most of the way of the arena.
Yeah, it is. You can do a lot. You can do a lot in 10 seconds, okay? But you're not going to do a lap of honor round the map in 10 seconds unless you're going hell for leather, which on that day
on that
on that ground.
no, no, which is another topic we could come to later on there, okay? No, I think 10 seconds would probably be a bit of a great idea. What do you think about the idea that if you are carrying the Juggernaut vial or power up, so to speak, okay, but you are tagged out, you then lose it permanently for the rest of the round? Because it's a little bit of a balancing mechanic, which would perhaps encourage people to try and use it early rather than saving
So
it.
if you don't use it immediately,
Not necessarily
I think everyone
immediately.
used it immediately though.
But I'm just trying to think, if you, just for example, the closest sort of parallel I can think is like a temporary power up in a video game. Okay, like you're some sort of immunity potion or some sort of, 200% shield in a shooter. Okay, where you can basically, you keep it, you're going into a firefight. Okay, you hit the upgrade, you run in, you've got a period of immunity, and basically everything's dead by the time it runs out, or you're shortly dead afterwards. Okay, but that's in a computer game if you were to do it. So like, you go, you pick it up, you think, right, I'll keep it for when I need to. Okay, somebody tags you, it's lost. You haven't used it, so it's a risk reward idea. Okay, that would require a degree of honesty on the player's part. Okay, but I don't really think that would be a problem, because it'd be a case of you haven't used it, right? That's fine. Next up, on you go.
Quick fire flux.
Quick fire flux.
So this is my crazy variant of flux. 5 minute
Also known as
rounds.
the how to wreck a player match.
Yeah. 5 minute rounds, 5 tiles, 5 rounds. So every second counts. Most people bring out the biggest loadouts, the full auto, anything like that. And we throw in a stick of dynamite for each team that can be used to detonate a tile and take it out of play. The flip side is if you're carrying that dynamite and you're hit by shield piercing or shield breaking, boom, that player is out for that round and the dynamite is gone.
Shield piercing and breaking, Adam, for those who don't know it,
is in my games is shield piercing is mega Ultra, Rebel arrows, Ball Popper rounds, and breaking is Mega XL, Demolition missiles, Titan missiles, and those weird NF Strike mortars that only the Ratman has. And he's never used. But I have it there just in case he does come and fire them. So the idea of shield piercing is if you're carrying a riot shield, it goes through, counts the tag on player. If it's shield breaking, it takes shield out for that round. But quickfire flux it's a meat grinder. Every second counts. You go back as quick as you can to respawn because you are trying to get those tiles back. And on this one, we played 3 out of 5 rounds. First round was a 3-2 to red. Second round was 4-1 to red. Third round was 5-0 to red. So they were 12 versus 3. They still had their dynamite in play and they were planning to plant it immediately on the next round, which would immediately take out 2 points of the remaining 10 points. So there was no chance blue team could catch up. So we cut that one short at 3 rounds. 3 rounds was tough. I got to the end of that and I was dead.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of that? Because, like, when last time we played it, Adam, when I was there, it went all 5 rounds.
Yes.
Okay, and it went down to the last 10 seconds of it.
It was literally the last 3 seconds where people were coming round the corner as I was counting down and got mag dumped in the groin.
Yeah.
just for a change at one of my events.
Yeah, of course, just for a change. Yeah. But in this one, it did go quite significantly different.
Yeah.
To the point that they actually made quite a significant lead. But again, the use of the dynamite, not going in early and just dropping it, right? But actually holding it back as a dessert. Hold on, how do we react to these developing circumstances? I think is one of the strengths of the game, and it is a game that does encourage you to go in heavy, but not actually empty everything you've got, because you've only got how much time to reload before the next round? 5 minutes?
Ideally, I'd try and get them back up in 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. And
so you don't want to empty every mag.
No. Because if you're walking in with, for example, say 13 magazines for one thing and a backup, you're not reloading those all in 5 minutes, So it's something that encourages aggressive play, but not
without
ammo dumping. Yeah. So I love quickfire flux, but you do absolutely have to work as a team and have to be reactive. You can't just sort of sit there and toddle along and think, oh, just dilly-dally for a while. You guys, what do you think?
Well, we were on the losing team of that.
Really? You don't say.
But
And
I mean, I
would
still
say
enjoyed
is
it.
round 1 felt really balanced. Even round 2, with it being 4-1, that could have gone either way. But the third round, we had Elliot down one flank, picked up 2 tiles. You picked one of them back up, but didn't look at another one. And then we went back hard down that side and got it again. And that third round was just aggressive.
Yeah, it was. I think it was that round I tried to flip one of the tiles over and ended up falling over instead. But
yeah, I mean,
are
my
we going to
issue...
mention David's fall on the first round?
No, we're not.
He landed on his pride, Adam. I think he was okay. My
it's a
issue with
big pride.
quickfire flux, yeah, it's not my favorite game type. I'll be honest. It's one of the games I don't. I don't like the whole tile flipping thing. I let other people deal with that. So I'm just my opportunity to get my vector out and just full auto at anything I can. As I said before, simple creature. I just like to shoot things and get tags. So this game type, I tend to just be, covering fire. And that's why I'd got 10, 18 round angle talons for my Vipers, my vector. So I was just spamming shots at people in this one, which worked for the first couple of rounds because we'd got people actually trying to capture the tiles. But I think by wave 3, it had been there was a bit of attrition in our team in terms of flipping tiles. And I think as well as that, I personally had scavenged some darts from the floor, and because of the condition of the floor, those darts were just causing malfunctions. So I was getting jams every third or fourth round, which completely negated the fact I'd got a full auto blaster at that stage. So I certainly wasn't as effective in round 3 as I was in the first couple. And I think I'm not sure whether that affected other people as well.
Probably.
But yeah, if I was a racing driver, that would be my excuse. The darts were jamming. So yeah, that was me, my opinion there. But again, not my favorite game type, so I'm not going to kind of say yes, we could fix it with this or whatever. It's one of those.
Flux is probably my absolute favorite game type because every venue it plays differently. The number of tiles you have plays differently. Like 3 tiles plays very different to 5. 5 plays very different to 7. I've done 9 tiles, and that is just, it either goes a total whitewash and like it's 8-1, or it is the most hard fought over a single tile in the middle of the arena, and that's it. So Flux is one of my favorite, especially like going back to Foundry. In the Foundry, I might have only ever seen 2 tiles out of 5, and I had no idea. And it got to the end, and it'd be like, oh, we've lost. Sorry, swearing. It'd be like, oh, we only held 2 tiles for the whole game. We never even saw the other tiles. So Flux is my absolute favorite. And Quickfire Flux.
Sorry, go on, Adam.
And Quickfire Flux, because it is that constant, every second count, you are getting back so quick and thinking, right, have we still got that? Have we got that one? And I don't know whether it'll come across on video, but I'm always shouting out, have we got that? Have we got this? Spectre, go grab that. Watch out for Margie's coming down that flank. So I go full leader potato in Flux.
It is a game where communicating as a team is critical. We tend to play Flux at Foam Dark Thunder events. It is a regular, whether it's Terminal Infection or the Fortnite party
Battle Royale, yeah.
That's it, Battle Royale. Thank you. Yeah, whether it's a staple. We use 5, I think it is, and the positioning of the tiles in the FTT ones tend to be very neutral, very open. But when I was watching the videos for the editing for this one, yeah, depending on where they were, one team had an advantage. Like the one outside the comms outpost, you could genuinely stick your hand through the netting.
Yeah, and it was one thing I was concerned about this time was the placement. I didn't think I'd got them quite right.
I think one of the things with the placing is that you can work around that because there's a lot of movable scenery. I don't know what the rules is or what the owners.
In theory, as long as we put them back where we found them, we're okay.
Yeah. Well, that's great because you can certainly mitigate some things. Because, for example, like the comms outpost, you could basically hide in the darkness at the comms outpost, and if anybody walked close, just nail them through the meshing. If you were inside the train, you basically had one of them completely covered by sitting back.
And yet that one changed quite often.
It did, yeah, it absolutely did, because that was one that was quite a hard fought over. Looking from the Chinook out, the right hand side was definitely one that was a lot more stationary. The left hand side, I felt, was one that was definitely a bit more of a fight over it. But again, you can change things around by placing them or wherever. But again, it's one of these things where you're only going to know these things after a thing. Okay, would you ever consider? Is an idea. Would you ever consider replacing a tile if we have found? Well, there we are. That's your answer already.
We have on previous ones. Like I say, this time I put them somewhere different to normal. I normally do like kind of one either near each spawn, one down the sides, and then one in House of Pain. So this one was a very different layout from normal. And yeah, I totally accept that it may not have been the best.
But but the thing is, it's not a hyper competitive format.
I'm going to say we're grown ups playing with kids' toys.
Absolutely.
I object to the term grown up. You can't make me. I won't do it.
Yeah, we're obligated to grow old, as the case may be, for some of us more than others. But we're not obligated to grow up because, quite frankly, I refuse to there. Now, Samwise, you've been a bit quiet on this one there. What's your thoughts, buddy?
I'm of mixed feelings about the Quickfire Flux. I mean, into the Flux games in general. I do like them, but it does sometimes feel like, as you say, depending on where the placement is, it can just be like, I know you swap between rounds, but it does sometimes feel like you just don't stand a chance of getting one of the points. Like I remember the one that was in front of the tank, like, you know, getting to that from the which side was it? The side.
Biotech spot.
Yeah. Is it
Through
the
the
biotech?
train.
Yeah,
Through the train.
Coming through the train.
Coming through the train, it was impossible. So if you flipped it over, you had very good current fire on it, but getting out was difficult because, of course, you've only got one way to get out of there, which makes it very easy to prevent anyone from getting across.
Yeah. You've got 3 safe spots.
Yeah, you got plenty of area to cover it, but
you've got the train to cover your advance, but for the defenders, you've got behind the tank.
Behind the tank, 2 by Main Street and by House of Pain.
Yeah.
You know, that is a wall of fire that you're trying
Through
to
House of Pain.
Yeah. You're not unless you manage to somehow make a break for it and are either really lucky or very small, you are probably going to get lit up, on the way there.
A lot of that is down to teamwork. You get people on that side of a train, you get people on that side of a train, firing through the things, and then you make a run for it.
It is
tactical jog.
I thought it was interesting this time how many times the train pretty much changed hands. Every time I went to the train, either red were in control of it or blue were in control of it. So it was either I'm trying to fight to take the train or we're defending it. And, we've got, and it didn't seem to matter which spawn point you were from. The train there was always some action at the train. And I think it's probably down to the fact that the tank, as you were just saying, with the 3 defensive points behind the tank, it's really easy to just rain fire on that single exit from the train on that end of the arena. Whereas from the other end, you can get in with relative cover and there's crossfire through the windows. But once you're in the train, literally you've got then to run tactical jog to the tank before you're in relative safety. So I think that's what makes that side quite interesting.
Yeah, the other thing was the amount of grenades that end up flying into the train as well. It was a hot spot for getting blown up all the time.
Yeah, the train's a really good target for grenades just because there usually is 2 or 3 people in it, and of course building explosions count as a tag on anyone in the building. So yeah.
I'm not too sure how I feel about the idea that you can peek around the right-hand side of the train. With the fences, where people basically shunt the fence out a bit and lean round. Okay, it does kind of compensate for the idea that Chinook side has got like 4 vantage points to rain fire onto the train exit. Okay, and it gives you one relatively safe spot to essentially stick your head round and be able to, return fire. Okay, it's one of these things where is it technically playing slightly out of bounds?
That's what I was thinking the first time I did it. I literally asked him, I was like, "Is
this
this fair?"
The 2 main culprits are these on my screen.
I did it, and nobody said anything.
Especially Bonehead.
Yeah, I mean, one of my old Facebook profile pictures is me peeking around with my Viper. So yeah, that's it's a tactic I use. It did backfire on me though at this game because I think I got you, Adam, at one point with a grenade. Just sort of snuck my head round, got you with a grenade. You were outside the train, turned round to retreat a little bit, and then Spectre did exactly the same. Poked his head round, chucked a grenade, and it landed right at my feet. Yeah. And I remember saying to him afterwards, and this is probably more for the highlight reels, but I said him afterwards in between matches, nice one. Wasn't expecting that. He says your face was an absolute picture. When you realise you've been tagged, you would just look so crestfallen. And he's right. It was fair cop. So I think it's one of those we do it, but as long as both teams do it, it's fair game.
It
And
is
they've-
definitely one of those things. Yeah.
It
You go.
wasn't that far. There wasn't a gap on the first event. That gap has actually developed. And there is one on the train, on the tank as well. There's more of a gap now. And that's the venue moving it, not us.
You sure?
I
Not
thought that
big
was just
fat
us.
reading against it.
Yeah,
I
us
did.
bending the fences.
I remember I tried to sneak my fare around it to see if I could blow up one of the bombs before they could hide in the train, and then I realized it's a bit big for that gap. But
That's why you need an Ultra 5
yeah, I'm looking at
or
a
a
couple.
4.
I found an Ultra Amp that's going for like £7. I think I might get
Buy
it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get a brand new Focus
Don't-
for like £12,
Don't buy
I
it.
think.
No.
We need more Ultra Bros. One of us.
Don't make me get the T-shirt. Do not make me get the T-shirt. Okay.
One idea I was just thinking about that I haven't actually done. I don't know if this is a thing that's been done at other events, but like a King of the Hill event. So rather
Doesn't
than
work well.
having, it doesn't work
We've
well.
tried it. The idea
tried
of the hill moving doesn't work.
I wasn't thinking a moving hill. I was thinking.
In which case, we call it domination.
Okay.
And we do it. And I have plans for a new box to do it because my game timer is, as most people will know, battered and bruised is my little GameCube.
Well loved. Well loved. You know, or well dropped.
I was just thinking because you've got the two boxes. You said there's one which you can hold it and it counts up.
No, I've got plans for a time one. We generally put that in the House of Pain on the train side where you've got the two entrances.
Yeah,
because it's very heavily thought.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it because I know we didn't do it this time, but I didn't know if it had been done before.
Yeah, we did it at previous events. I remember that going swimmingly at one of Adam's other events, the Eyeballs event, where we were rival only, and Stuart holding an entire section just with a Nemesis and a bucket of darts.
And at whole the front page where it was in the middle of the main floor. That was you had Cal going to the thing. You have people either side of this wooden tub just like trying to peek around, shooting at each other. But next game type?
Indeed, next game type, Adam, would be HVZ.
Yeah.
Okay.
So humans versus zombies in the UK style. So we tend to do what other people might call infection. We call it Busan style from Bristol University Zombie Apocalypse Network, which is a zombie nerf society that Boff was part of, and having been in the hobby for so long, we've all kind of got into that his game mode. So we generally do it as Busan style HVZ is a 5-second stun. So you shoot a zombie, it's stunned for 5 seconds. Then it has 5 seconds immunity. So it can start moving, counts down, and while it's counting down, it's immune. You can shoot it as many times as you want, and it's still going to come towards you. Quite often, we've done different variations at Nerfmania. So we tend to do what we call pinger zombies, which is a variant comes from Foam Data Services, Tom, where everybody takes a kitchen timer. The kitchen timer's got the clock blanked out. Some of them have batteries, some of them don't. If your timer goes off, you have a zombie, same 5 seconds. And we've also done one where we do pinger escalation, where every time you're shot, your stun timer goes up, but your immune timer goes up. So your first shot, your 1 second stun, 1 second immunity, counts up. So at whole front page, we did it counts up every 2 seconds. I got up to a 12-second stun, which is a long time to be stood there. But then 12 seconds immunity is so much fun because you are just terrifying when you're stalking people. But this one, really nice and simple. We went back to Busan style. We chose 3 starter zombies, did 3 rounds. And I love being a starter zombie in HVZ because I'm sure it'll come out on the video. I love screaming at people. So you kind of sneak up to the end of a tunnel, the end of a train, stick your head around and just and you watch people like Luna jump 5 feet in the air because she's never expecting that.
Yeah.
So for me, Busan style HVZ, it's going back to where I started. My first ever Grim Up Nerf, we ran 1 second stun, 1 second immunity, which is in a small hole about the size of probably about the size of a train. And it was terrifying, is that kind of 1 second.
Yeah. We do the 5 second up at FTT, and it's to echo something that Boneheed said. HVZ is probably my least favorite event format. Okay, now there is nothing wrong with it. I just prefer the other ones more. But I'm also somebody who's got regular access to terminal infection. Okay, so it is terminal infection, for anybody who doesn't know what it is, one of the major thematic events that is run in Scotland, usually in either the Ocean Terminal or East Kilbride shopping centres. And I think, is it Day of the Dead? Yeah, the Romero movie. It's that 5 second stun, 5 second immunity, and I've just played a lot and been involved in it a lot. So it's just one of those things where like I just naturally want to try something different.
Yeah.
But to echo something that you said, Adam, if I was doing it, I would like playing that as a zombie. FTD Pro 2, the last one, just before Christmas time there. Al and I were the starting zombies for the final round, and I was armed with 2 pool noodles or foam insulation things. And hella fun just walking around whapping surfaces. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just
Done
really,
that one.
yeah,
Love it.
really disorientating for people. Okay, because you can whap one thing and then walk the other direction, and and it's great for unnerving people. Okay, and if you do manage to catch somebody, it is fun to see them book it out of that room. Sometimes maybe firing a shot at you if if they can get the wits together enough, or just run, and that's fine. It's immensely fun to do it as a zombie, but as a player, no, I'd rather sit out and take photographs, which is something that I've naturally done in the past when I've been at these events for you, or do it as a starter zombie. So when we get round to the footage, I will absolutely be incorporating your zombie footage. And I think I might try and incorporate the other GoPro footage from, who was it? No, it was you that was wearing it for all 3 rounds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see about incorporating that one as well.
So you'll get it as a zombie and as a player.
Yeah. So we'll pick the highlights out, okay? And yeah, so it's definitely something that I enjoy. But again, it's not my favorite format. Yeah. You guys, what are you thinking?
I really enjoy this game type, despite being absolutely abysmal at it. As soon as I'm a zombie, that's it. I might as well go and sit out because I generally don't catch anyone. But this event was actually the change in the tide for me. I was a starter zombie on the first game, and I caught a couple of people with the immunity. They thought, "Oh, I've shot him. That's great," and then didn't think to move. And of course, I'm counting backwards to indicate when my immunity runs out, and they sort of realised on 3. And I've got 2 seconds, and I'm arm's length away from them. So I know I got Luna and Elliot a couple of times with that. I caught Jack, one of the Hobbitses, a couple of times with it. So yeah, I think new players probably made it a little bit more successful for me. But either way, I love it. I'll go in just with a pistol, single shot Springer. Some people go full auto for overkill, but I just think you only need to hit the zombie once. So if I don't hit them, it's on me.
I was going to say why, but then again, I ran a Nightingale, so yeah, I can't really speak.
Yeah,
didn't pull the trigger, but
but again, yeah, for me that as I say, if I'm using a single shot Springer, my theory being, if I hit the zombie, I've got a chance to get away. If I don't, oh no, brains. And that's my kind of philosophy with it, and it does give me a chance to use my sidearm a bit more as well. Which I like to do because I really like my sidearm. But yeah, it's one of those games I enjoy, even though I absolutely suck at it.
Samwise, what do you think?
I'm of the same opinion. I also really like the zombies game mode. I think we've done it at pretty much every single event except for Christmas Caves.
Which I'm surprised by, because in the caves that could be
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant.
I think it would have been really cool. We did a weird like reindeer variant of it, but it was more like a bunch of people hunting a small group of reindeer. It wasn't really the same. But I think the caves one would have been good because there was so many areas you could have hidden. But I think that's maybe why they didn't do it. Is
Yeah,
because
it could go on for a long time.
Someone could be hidden in like a corner and you wouldn't find. There was some corners you would look in there, pitch black. Unless you had a torch, you would never find them. So I think that's why they avoided doing it there. But I do love the zombies game mode. I'm not particularly good at running for a long time, so I often end up winding myself as we play zombies. But this one, luckily, no sprinting was involved. But I always love it because it gives me a chance to pull out the sledge fire, which is not normally
You got me with the sledge fire.
yeah, it's not normally a tactical option in any other game mode because
and it was hilarious watching you panicking trying to get a shell into it, shell in that way, another shell.
Yeah.
There's an excellent action shot of Samwise trying to load a shell on the Facebook group, and the picture's hilarious because you can just see the panic on your face as you're like trying to ram the shell in frantically. It's a brilliant photo.
As he runs around from the netting in the hospital. And I think
you can see two people behind him, sort of in full-on zombie mode as well.
Yeah, that sounds
I
about
love
right.
that show. It was fantastic. There,
I do have a couple of plans for the sledge fire to make it a bit more reliable, but it's too much effort to apologies. Too much effort to
Blaster parts spring.
Oh no! I've got it. So it is set up to launch the spring out now. I'm just in such a worry wall. I'm gonna like step on it or lose it. So I try and grab it at the same time, and then I'm like, I've got one arm that's breaking the shotgun open. One arm holding the now empty shell, and I'm now thinking, right, my fourth and fifth arm can just. Oh wait, hang on a second.
It's 3D printed. Just recognize it. You're going to break it.
Yeah. That's what
it's a consumable. Just
yeah.
That's
so
fine.
that's what I need to get in the habit of doing. It's just letting the shells fly off and putting a new one in. But I do love it because it just lets you use the wacky Nerf guns that you would never normally use. Like I also had the Outlaw, which I didn't use in any of the other events we did. Just because it's fun to have a hammer action pistol. Not like a super. I mean, it's not bad, that one.
It's good as the Outlaw.
Yeah, it is good. I just like when I've got a quick in all the other game modes, it's easier to have something that just splurts out darts everywhere, and then hopefully one of them will hit somebody. But no, I should have used the Outlaw more. But I do love it because, I can't remember which one it was, but I remember seeing someone had like a crossbow, and one like a proper one with like the arrows. It was like a wooden one, so it was a custom made one, but he just brought something wacky, and you would never see it in any of the other events.
Grim Up Nerf, that one.
Yeah,
I think I know who you mean.
Yeah. So I always love
that
seeing
allows you to experiment with non-standard models because it's not a competitive format.
Yeah.
It's a palate cleanser.
My thing is, if I fired a shot, then I've done well. If I've remembered to prime a blaster, I've done well.
If you have working grenades as well.
I don't. I need to get some, but that's another.
Yes,
that's another thing to add to the list of.
We'll not mention Adam's grenade failures. That's a story that's been told
many times.
No, I love the zombies game modes. I every other event we've done I've been like absolutely exhausted after it, but a bit of exercise, doesn't hurt.
Some exercise is better than no exercise.
Yep.
So what we'll do is we'll jump on to the last one there, which would be Bomb Run.
It's Bomb Run. So obviously, Nerfmania, it's laid out like a town. We've got multiple little buildings. I have, and I was hoping I'd had one to hand, but I have foam dynamite. So these are made out of pool noodles, free in a thing, taped together with a little bit of wick from elastic. You can't throw them because there's no weight, so they just literally float at your feet. But they look silly. They look fun. So Bomb Run, the idea is to take these dynamite, put one in every room as quick as you can. And Blue team. Bless them.
Did we
I
even get
don't
one?
think
I
got
don't
the
think we
point
did.
of the game.
No,
You
I
not read
didn't.
the instructions?
So under my impression, I didn't think that the buildings that were on our side of the field counted.
count it.
Because I was like, that would be too easy. It's got to be all of their buildings, right? And then after the game ended, and it's like, yeah, we didn't even put any in the train. I was like, oh, we were supposed to.
So you got one in biotech by virtue of that's where you
That's
started.
where they started.
And
That's where
even
the
then, I was
bag of
being
dynamite
generous
was.
because you didn't take it out of the bag. You got one in the hospital and one in the Mexican
room?
stand. No, you didn't
No,
even
the
get one in
jail.
the comms. No, because jail's out of play at the moment.
Oh, right.
It's in the Mexican room just by the biotech.
Yeah.
So
Jail.
you got 3. In 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were
That
you were on
was-
for 10 minutes. And then red team did 6 or 7 in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds
A
all
bit
right.
of a,
Just
bit
on
of a
that one,
whitewash.
Modge did attempt to get the tank, but he got hit with Mega on the way
Yes.
there, I think, from Spectre.
So
he
that's
was
the
taken
other thing. In Bomb Run, if you are hit by shield piercing or shield breaking while carrying dynamite was out, you're out. And we did it with the rugby tag belts, so you only had 3 lives. Normally we've done it with 5 lives. I think 5 works better because it encourages that more aggressive play, more risk taken, whereas 3 was a bit too low. So one of my takeaways is I need more belts because I want to have 3 life belts and 5 life belts.
Yeah, I know that to echo something I said right at the start. When you had the 3 lives, you could afford to be reckless with 1. As soon as you got down to 2 lives, you started playing conservatively. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the great thing is that with Bomb Run and using the limited lives factor, is it stops it turning into just this lemming meat grinder, which I think is critical because it does encourage you to play conservatively, or not necessarily conservative, tactically. Okay, if you are a middle-aged tactical jogger, shall we say, okay, which constitutes 3 of us, you're not going to be walking around carrying a stick of dynamite. Okay, you're going to be letting the younger, smaller individuals do it. Okay, but like for example, for me, if I got hit, I couldn't necessarily tell you what I got hit with. So the idea of a piercing and taking off 2 lives, I would have just said, get rid of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is one thing I did consider.
I would just say if you get hit carrying the dynamite,
complex.
yeah, if you get hit carrying the dynamite, that's it. Dynamite's lost. You've lost a life. Okay, and that's fine. But I think trying to make it so life's according to ammo type, no, I think that's a little bit too much. Like trying to figure out what actually hit you. Sometimes it's really obvious. A Mega XL or a Titan rocket. Very clear what's.
Yeah, you're gonna notice those.
You're gonna notice those, yeah. But for other things, not really. So yeah, did you guys just not read the instructions for that one?
Go on, Samwise. I'll let you.
I
on
mean,
this one.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it was a mix of my brain as ever not paying attention. Like information was going in. I was like, yeah, I got it.
It was the end of the event, and
Yeah.
it'd been a long morning drive up.
And I think it was just a case of my brain. It was a mix of me not paying proper attention and my brain going, "Nah, it'd be too easy if it was just the buildings right next to us." Not realizing, of course, how much dynamite we actually had.
14.
Yes, plenty of dynamite.
More than there is rooms.
Yes. So that was, I think, my mistake. Is we probably could have at least scored 4 points easily, maybe 5.
We could have got the comms room very easily. We could have got the train very easily, yeah, but we didn't.
But yeah, I think it was just a case of I wasn't paying enough attention at that point. And that my brain was going like, I'm not going to take a bomb when I have 3 lives, because of course if you get hit, that's it. You lost all 3 lives straight away. So I think at the start my thought process was I'll only take a dynamite when it's my last life. And of course, when I was it was like my last life was like 10 minutes later. I was now thinking I've got to protect this life with everything I've got, completely forgetting what game mode we were playing.
Counterintuitive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's where I went wrong, because I probably should have taken one on my second life.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
see, again, for me, I knew the drill. I knew the game mode. I've played it before, so I have absolutely no excuse. But again, for me, I was in my element here because I got to bring out my Ultra Blaster, so I was happy. And I'll be honest, for probably the first time at Adam's events, I enjoyed the Ultra round this time more than I did some of the other rounds. I was absolutely loving that last game. But again, I was in just covering fire, Cyril Figgis mode, firing off ultra darts in the direction of the enemy team, not worried about bombs. So that's why we didn't do particularly well there from my perspective. But again, we'd got other people that also didn't get the memo. So yeah, the less said about our loss, the better. On to the next round, though, that I really did enjoy because I was just in my element, sitting on one side of the train, firing ultra through the train, tagging Adam at least once. I know I did that.
Luckily, I didn't have a bomb.
Yeah, and I think at that point, that's when the grenades came in, with the me peeking round and taking you out with a grenade at one point. But yeah, I do love any game that lets me bring out my ultra. I know that's not a popular opinion in the wider hobby, but I'm an ultra bro, so I have to use my ultra, and I did so, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
The last round for me, I enjoyed it. Couple of things for me. Both of my grenades failed to go off when I tossed them into the. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's a bit fuzzy. I think
you tossed them into the train, because I remember seeing two come in, they didn't go off, and then a third one came in.
No, that was me. Or when
that was you. Oh,
when
so I
we
remember
were
there was three of us looking at it, and we're like, "Are we dead?" And then a third one flew in, and it went bang, and I was like, "Now we're dead."
Yeah, because it was. I think I was using the Ultra for that one, the Focus, and
You are welcome.
He's determined not to swear.
already I'm going to do two bleeps in this show. Okay, I'm not going to have just an entire noise for the next minute or so. So we're profusing at you, right? But okay, we will have a genuine conversation after this about the Focus and it. Okay, because I have actually had quite a few genuinely constructive thoughts. Okay, all banter aside, I have actually genuine constructive thoughts about this. I love Bomb Run. Okay, again, I think I've mentioned a few things about like my feedback for it, simplification of the rules, but in terms of planting and moving on, it reminds me very much of the Time Splitters Assault game mode, which is from the Future Perfect game, I think. There were only like a couple of versions of it, but it was basically you start at one point, you have to like advance, destroy something, advance, destroy something. Okay,
which
I loved
in
it.
the Foundry worked really well.
Yeah,
where we did that.
As a game type, I would put it up there as gold standard, but it does require people to pay attention to what they're doing. People that, again, we have this principle with the hobby, which is you nerf you. Okay, you want to go around and fling foam like Brendan does, that's absolutely cool, right? You're more than welcome to do so, okay? But you have to at least be aware of the game that you're playing or the game format that you're playing, okay? And yeah, I love it. I think of all of the ones that we played, Bomb Run was the best one for me, followed by Island of Dr. Moreau, okay? Because they were new and I definitely enjoyed them. Yeah, again, to give some degree of sympathy to Blue Team, when we were walking towards Biotech Spawn, was it looking like, did they forget to do this? Like, and so just comparing with that, you know, like, have I understood this correctly? You know, I was, yeah. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We punt 5 within the first 10 seconds, and we've won. You know, we've won 4 and we've won. You know, so it was a case of 30 seconds in, ding ding ding, we've won. Thank you very much.
But we carried on.
We did.
Yeah.
We
wanted to
absolutely did.
rub it in.
Yeah.
You could see if you could get every. You
Ace
were
and
seeing
no.
if you could get our spawn, weren't you, as well?
We did on was it Delta Echo?
One of them,
we
yeah.
played it, and one team did get every one.
Yeah.
I
But
want
it
to
was
say
it was
I want to say
down
Echo
to
because I
yeah,
don't
it
think
was
Delta.
down to like the last 30 seconds anyway, because it is hard work to get all the way down to the wiring.
What I did notice was we done that rush initially and secured victory, and then I started playing a bit more conservatively, and I was trying to sort of like arc shots down the comm wing,
Yeah,
rather than the train wing, and I could hear out at the corner, I could hear like just or see at the corner of my eye, there was a proper fight going on over the train, and it was like it was hard fought, and I'm looking forward to actually reviewing the footage for that. Okay, because I've set it up where it's actually like the whole avenue. Okay, and looking forward to seeing what that is. So yeah, I think it's a game type that I would definitely say that I would love to play again. A little bit of prop requirement, okay, but if you're interested in playing it and you don't have the props, anything, literally anything at all that you can use as it, okay.
chop up a pool noodle, put a little bit of tape around it. You've got a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
Get a tennis ball, stick a wick to it, and write "bomb" on the front.
Yeah.
Spray it black for
Yeah, but then you can
old school
throw
movie
them, and that
reference.
will actually
Oh, yeah.
throw.
You could even just use like toilet rolls. That would be cheap.
Yeah.
Be a bit bad.
Again, still fairly throwable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have the idea that we don't throw them. Just implement that as a rule there, okay?
Mhm.
Any
It's
closing-
hilarious watching people try and fall through. Closing remarks. Dart sweeps took a long time this time, which we haven't really touched on it, but the floor was horrible.
Yeah.
Moving around during the games, it was slippy. Come to dart sweeps, it was sticky. And I can't figure that one out because yeah, it was disgusting. I came away with hands that were black from picking
Yeah.
up darts.
Looking
I've
at-
got to wash the darts because they are disgusting.
Looking at the pictures, most people had marks on their hands.
Yeah.
The back of my T-shirt, the design on the back of my T-shirt, I thought was actually going to be permanently ruined, because of it. I thought actually it wasn't. It came out nice and clean, but I thought, ooh, But then again, I was lying on my back after I fell. Okay.
Yeah. Let's not
Which,
mention
on
that.
the side of things, you're a sympathetic git, aren't you?
I checked if you were okay when you got the
Not
footage.
you, not you.
I think he's talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I suggested
just
that we
remember,
ban.
the cameras were both rolling, because as you walk around, it wasn't even running, just wee.
Well, you weren't even quiet about it. I was nowhere near it, and I heard you saying that. Oh, that was
I have,
funny.
however, kept that little clip in just because it made me laugh so heartily. So yeah, that will be in the coverage one. Okay. So any closing thoughts about the event? I generally would say loved it.
Yeah.
Fantastically
Same.
funny. Great to meet new players. Great to catch up with players that I hadn't seen in a while. For me, there was one technical issue. Sarah's Nightingale basically just died. I have to disassemble it and work out what it is. This was our lovely brand new hydro dipped one from Monkeytron Collective, and
And it died on the first shot or something.
yeah, and it's chewed up the darts. There's stuff stuck inside. I don't know what's happened to it. Probably, given the smell that's coming out of it, it's fried it. Okay. So I'll need to look into replacing the motors. I was considering actually transplanting the entire cage from my Nightingale to hers, because one of the things that I was looking at, and we'll discuss this later on, is like investing in a full auto. Okay, because I've got a few things to say about the filming side of stuff. Okay, but yeah, you guys, what are you thinking?
I'll let you go.
I was just going to say, yeah, I agree. Excuse me, I enjoyed this event. I was less tired than I normally am, after an event, and I think that's probably because it was a little bit colder. So normally I'm running around in a sweaty mess by the end. But it also helped that I'd not had to travel all the way on the train before the event, which does take something out of you. But yeah, again, I enjoyed blasters that I expected not to enjoy as much, and I didn't enjoy others as much as I expected to. So bit of a weird event for me, but I think it was more just the way the games were going than anything wrong with blasters themselves. All the blasters performed exactly as I wanted them to, with the exception of a few jams from scavenged darts, which, as Adam said, the floor was absolutely filthy, and any kind of floor darts that you picked up just caked the inside of your blasters with mud. So nothing that we could really do about that. It's an ancient building, and decades of grime in the
Grime
floor,
and fog
bodily
machine
fluids.
fluid.
Yeah, and various other things. So yeah, that was obviously the elephant in the room was the floor. But other than that, I enjoyed it. Really good event. All of the games I really enjoyed this time. And yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Samwise?
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. The only thing that I wouldn't say ruined it, slowed the pace down, is the floor, because of course the moment you try to start running, you're gonna fall. I mean, I wasn't even running during the zombies one. I managed to fall over just by turning around. But other than that, I quite enjoyed the event. The only thing for me was the tower was almost impossible to shoot anybody inside it, but that's just probably my lack of aim. But even that, like half the time, I was never even shooting it anyway. I was busy dying in the train every round. But no, I really enjoyed this event. Definitely gonna come again, as long as I can pester Frodo to come with me, which I'm sure he will. In fact, he'll probably be the one pestering me to go with him. But yeah, and hopefully next time I'll have some new wacky contraptions to try out.
So that's us back from a quick break there, okay? Samwise, you're the youngest player, or the newest player rather, out of the lot of us. So you've been to quite a few events across the different areas. Why don't you talk a little about your impressions and your comparisons of like this event to one that you've attended previously? Just have a wee bit of a sort of free form about that. On you go, buddy.
Yeah. I as mean as I feel for this, I don't think I can rate this as my favorite event so far. I think that would be Grim Up Nerf currently, but that's being out of 4. But this is definitely was definitely tying with my second favorite with the first event I went to. But that's more to do with the fact that I felt more equipped to deal with or to participate in the event. And hopefully no one feels too bad about this, but Christmas Caves is probably my least favorite out of the ones I've been to, simply due to you couldn't really see what was happening. You had no idea if someone who was like 5 meters in front of you was on your team or shooting at you. The events were enjoyable, but they could have been improved, I feel like. But at I keep forgetting it's Foxtrot. I do feel like we had a good momentum of the games. Like, I know we wanted to get as many games out as possible,
Yeah.
so you didn't. There was sometimes you felt like you didn't have enough time to get stuff ready. That's just me being inexperienced, though, and I need to get faster at that.
To be honest, you're not the worst.
Yeah. But I definitely have enjoyed it more so than Christmas Caves, and I would say I enjoyed it as much as I can never remember the name of the first
Bristol
one we went to.
Blast.
Bristol
That's your
Blast.
first one, yeah.
You've told me that probably 5 times now, and I'm going to forget it again in 10 minutes. But that I would say that's a mix of, because at Bristol Blast all I had was a long shot that didn't work, and is it the sling fire? The lever action zombie strike.
Yeah, sling fire.
Yeah, and that was the only blaster I had that entire event that actually worked. That and a hammer shot. I can't forget that. And then at Gun Up, Grim Up Nerf, not Gun Up.
Yeah.
Grim Up Nerf, I had basically the same issue where I thought I fixed my long shot, but I didn't. And what was more annoying was that I bought the Vector off of you, Boneheed, and only to find out I couldn't use it at that event.
Short dart.
Short dart, yeah.
And Grim nerfs a 100 FPS for the
Yeah,
one
so
you
it's
came
100
to.
Yeah,
FPS
so-
cap.
Would have been too spicy anyway.
But I mean, I still enjoyed it. That one is probably my favorite, just due to you had a good mix of long distance engagements, close distance engagements, outdoors, indoors. There was a good mix of stuff. Whereas that's the only thing I would say about Foxtrot is it just felt not cramped, but it would have been nice if there was a bit more space to it.
Yeah.
That and you could move a bit quicker. But I think that actually sort of works to its favor. The fact that you couldn't run, it made the area feel like you
Slightly
weren't
bigger, yeah.
Yes, because of
You
course
weren't,
if
you weren't on top of each other immediately.
yeah, because if you could run in that event, you would be in the enemy's spawn within like 10 seconds, less than that.
That has happened when we've had Han at events, and he's just run the entire length of the field with a piece of dynamite and taken the tower out.
Violently.
Yeah,
Violently, absolutely, yeah. just-
Silently and violently.
yes, both. The man's a ninja, but yes. Anyway,
But no, I did enjoy it, despite everything has its ups and downs. The odds of you getting something down perfectly is next to impossible. Just because you're never in full control of everything. Like, because obviously you're not in control of the floor conditions at that place, are you? Unless you're some sort of wizard.
I wish.
Yeah, don't we all? The only thing I would say, maybe, I don't know how it would affect with the timings, is we could have done like shorter dart pickups. Not short, but like more, but shorter dart pickups, because that's obviously due to the dampness. By the end of the event, everyone had like squashed the darts and trod on them, and at that point they were getting a bit past it.
Getting dart sweeping right is difficult.
Yeah,
Because if you do it after every round, people get fed up. Don't do it, or it can just take a long time.
I think when did we? I can't remember how often we did it at Grim Up Nerf. Was it every two?
Every two, yeah.
And
But
that one,
they only
that
do about 4 rounds.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It wasn't an overly long thing, but I do feel like that was maybe we could have done 3 and then a pickup. But I do feel like leaving it until the end, because I did feel like, especially in Bomb Run, I was more concerned about tripping over or slipping on the darts on the floor, because every step I took, I was almost always stood on some darts.
Something, yeah.
Which it's like I know they're not. It's not cheap, but I know they're not ridiculously expensive to get more darts. But
they're replaceable. That's for certain.
Yes, but I still feel bad. It's like someone has to go and get all those darts and sort them all out. I know I hope some of the money that we pay to go to the events goes towards organizing all of that. I have no idea. I'm clueless as to that.
All covered in the previous video.
Okay, I'll have to go watch that then. Avid listener, I am. Yes.
Don't worry, at least don't.
I watched the last one.
You
actually.
wound me, sir. You wound me.
I watched the last one. I'll have you know.
I'll have to start watching those. Put it.
You
in
already
my,
watched the last video I put up because it was me finding a flight of stairs, boy. Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so you've spoken a fair wee bit about your impressions, Samwise, okay? And part of that was the evolving blaster choices. So let's just open up that particular one. To it, like, when you first went to the event, Brendan, first gone there, okay, what did you take? What are you taking nowadays? What you think you're going to take in the future? Adam, same thing. I'm going to regret asking you that, right? Okay.
How long have we got? So I mean, for me,
well, the limit on a recording video is 30 hours. Don't push it.
Gosh,
I will be long asleep and probably at work by then. Yeah, so for me, again, my first game was June, I want to say, Adam. June or July,
something like that.
Middle of summer. It was swelteringly hot. It was the same day as an Arctic Monkeys concert in Sheffield, because the train was absolutely rammed for me getting into Sheffield. Anyway, I took a very, very large crate, which I've never taken out of the house again because it's gigantic, it's ridiculous, and it now has all of my mags in it. But I took that because I didn't know what I was doing at that time. I just sort of thought, right, I need a rig of some sort. I need some sort of way to carry my mags. And then I took about 12 blasters, including a Saturn. I took a Strife. I took my Griffin that I had by that point. I took a Nightingale.
Spam.
Spam. I don't think I had the Spam at that point.
Oh.
Possibly.
I think you
I
did.
definitely. I took the Spam for Delta.
Delta.
I didn't take the Spam for Charlie. And I took a couple of other weird and wonderful things. I think I took a couple of rival blasters, like the what's it called? The big pistol one where the balls go around the front. That'll come to me anyway. Roundhouse. That's the one. I took a Roundhouse. And I took a couple of Ultra blasters. So I took an Ultra 2, I took an Ultra 5, and I took an Amp, I think, to that event. And then I realized I didn't need all of those. Some of them were ineffective. Some of them I used. Some of them I lent out to other players. I remember Benji was particularly keen on trying out my Saturn. So I let him do that. But again, it was just too much gear, too much stuff. I took a full plate carrier for my first event and I just never used it. So from that point on, I kind of evolved a little bit. I've now got myself a chest rig that Adam kindly sourced for me to hold my Talon mags. So that makes that a little bit easier. But now I've moved on slowly through trying different games. My current loadout is my Griffin, which is still reliable, still fantastic, still love it. I've got this event I brought the Unicorn, which is a new addition for this event, but it will be coming with me again. I have my Ultra Amp, which is obviously going to be the mainstay because we love the Ultra Amp. We all love the Ultra Amp. Ultra Bros for life. And I had my Viper sidearm, which I absolutely love. It's never let me down. I've had a few mag feed issues, but I've cleaned the mags out and that works fine. And that's good for when I just need either a backup or a single shot, so like for HVZ games. And I also had Donatello, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Vector, which I didn't have in the early games, and that's just for a bit of full auto fun. But yeah, I've kind of now gone from bring all the blasters and all of the gear to specific gear that I know I'm going to use, so something that fills every role. So I want a semi-auto Springer, semi-auto flywheeler, something full auto, a sidearm, and obviously a shield piercer. And that's where those blasters all fit in, and that's why those 5 are what I brought now. The Unicorn, I absolutely love. That is a brilliant little blaster. I would recommend anyone get one if you don't have one. I've upgraded to the full PT in mine because they come slotted, and it's slightly less power, but it's bang on the 145, 150 mark. Easy to prime. You can pinky prime it, and it's just a nice.
We've had them at most events now, and
yeah,
it's been an absolute stunning blaster for everyone who's used it.
It shoots lasers. It really does. It's perfectly straight. The air seal is amazing on it, and it's just a lovely little form factor blaster. Very small, very compact. Packs a punch. So yes, get yourself one. But yeah, again, same with the Viper. I rate my Viper. I know people have had problems with its predecessor, the Fire Rat, but cannot fault the Viper at all. That's about a 140 just on the standard spring that it comes with. And yeah, it's nice, easy prime. Again, shoots lasers for its size, and it's a nice compact little pistol size blaster. So that's my current loadout, but it's all evolved based on what do I need for each role, what game types am I playing, what blasters do I need. I did try the slab at a previous event, and as much as I love the slab, I like the lever action, it just felt a little bit unwieldy.
It's too long for that.
It's too long, and I think as well, particularly when you're going up against full auto blasters, particularly the whole action of having to pull the lever down to reload just takes that sort of split second too long. Whereas with the like the things like the Unicorn or the Long X, it's a quick pump blast, pump prime, and it's just a lot quicker. So for me, as much as I do like the slab, I think it'll be kind of more of a take it out for a fun game rather than a one where I need to actually be able to put a fair amount of foam downfield quickly. So Adam, what about you?
I've been in the hobby.
Guys want to go and cook a meal or something, feel free,
I've been in the hobby a long time. I've had a lot of blasters. One thing I've really kind of focused on in the last, probably since the pandemic, is trying to narrow down my selection to the same thing. Semi-auto foil, semi-auto Springer, sidearm, something full auto. So I ran the Spamf and the Slab. The Slab died because I knocked the trigger linkage. But I agree, it's too long for that and too slow. It's not even particularly slow, but it's just that extra half a second when you need to get something downrange. My Spamf, which worked great in Hover Front Page, terrible today on the weekend. I couldn't hit anything. Swordfish worked wonderful. Always does. Love my Swordfish. Best blaster I've ever built. Except I ran it with short darts from Flux and messed up. I cannot get my head around using a mag adapter, so I need a short dart semi-auto. So Proteon is on my to buy list. I took the ultrasonic and jammed it. Still haven't fixed it. It's in parts over there. What else did I run? Nightingale. I fired about 5 shots through it. I have a full auto Nightingale and I love it, but it's there as a sidearm for when I really need to put darts downrange. The only person I shot with it, Bonehead. When you were at the side of a tower.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And I ran my amp, and I love the amp. I love that tucked in feel. It's really nice, secure firing position. And I find Ultra, yeah, it's got the range. You can fire at the same kind of range as everything else at that event. And it's only about that last 20, 30 feet where the accuracy drops off, which most of the time it's perfect for that venue. So for me, my loadout is now pretty solid, other than needing a shot that semi-auto.
I find one thing I find interesting about the amp is how if you use the accurate rounds, the grey ones with the red head, that gives a lot more accuracy at range. But I just love the fact that it's I think I paid 13 quid blaster out of the box, and it performs as well as, if not better than, my Griffin.
I would say better than your Strife.
It's definitely better than
your Griffin's probably edges it out at range.
Yeah, the Griffin's got more range, but I think I'm probably more accurate with the amp at shorter ranges than I would be with the Griffin. I don't know why that is. There's more velocity to the Griffin shots, obviously, so they're going further and they're probably going faster. But for some reason, I just love the way that amp fires. It seems to be really consistent shots, particularly on the Accu rounds. 15-round clips, so it's not like you're short on 15-round magazines. You're not short on ammo. And just out of the box, I run it on nickel metal hydride batteries, just for a bit of extra speed, and it's hitting probably 100 FPS, but it's just so reliable. It's so fun to fire. The trigger feel is amazing on it. And this has been a Party Political broadcast on behalf of the Ultra Bros.
Now, what I'm interested in, Samwise, because obviously I played with you at Gun. Not that way. I played with you Grim and Nerf, and obviously you've come to Nerfmania, and your loadout had totally changed.
Yeah.
And at one point, you were running around with a Vector and a Quick in each hand. And it was hilarious, because I turned the corner and I just saw this wall of darts coming towards me, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm walking back.
I just was like, I was trying to push to a different bit of cover, I think, and I thought, I'm not going to hit anyone, so the best option I have here is just to spray darts everywhere. And I was like, oh, I only need one hand for each of these, and I just started wailing away at it, which I then discovered was a poor decision, because I got to where I was going to hide, and then I realized I had no darts.
Yeah, because you can't reload with 2.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Lara Croft reload time. How do I do that?
Yeah, I think I might have to try and repeat that feat when I get my Meowser arrive, because I do love the idea of a small pistol with a Tachi mag in it, as Adam's seen from me taking my Spamf to an event and just putting Tachi mags in. It's hilarious. So I think a Tachi and a Meowser will be equally amusing. But yeah, 2 full autos in each, and a full auto in each hand. Yes,
I love the idea of going akimbo, as inefficient as it is.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It is funny, yeah.
I'd done it at the first round at a whole different page. And yeah, sure, reloading is awkward if you don't practice it, okay? But there is a way to semi-efficiently reload, but it does typically involve you dropping the mags on the floor, you know? And that in itself has a certain level of risk to things, okay? I am going to regret saying this next bit now because
One of us, one of us, one of us, one of us.
okay, yeah, can do it. Right.
Go on,
Okay,
out with it,
so
man.
right, okay, here we are.
Background for people who aren't aware.
Oh,
There was
God,
a secret
no.
Santa.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So
Bonehead was confused what to buy. I said, well, I was going to get him Ultra because I know he doesn't like it.
So I got him Ultra. He got an Ultra Focus, a spare magazine, and I believe a box of darts. Which I believe the blaster's now been rewired for 2S. Is that right?
Rewired for WIPO, yeah.
Yeah,
So I got this. Okay. How it
Moved today out
was.
of the door.
Yes. So that was it. Okay. So I came back from work one day and saw the box, and then opened it up and saw the stormtrooper wrapping paper,
yeah.
and just
I
thought,
forgot about that.
just the like, oh God, I know what this is going to be. And opened it up, and lo and behold, it was an ultra focus. Okay. Now, it's a good blaster. Okay, I have to say that. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. So
Did that hurt?
you have no idea how much that. Oh, right. Okay. So back when I first started attending Adam's events, I had a Fancy Impact Blasters Griffin. Okay. Short Dart Griffin. Okay. I then went through a process of turning it into what I call the Chimera, which was do everything Griffin. Okay. So it had a Mighty Mama on the top of it and an underslung Pico shell launcher at the front. Okay. And that to me was a case of I don't like carrying multiple blasters. I'm very much a
One
primary
thing for everything.
and a sidearm. Okay. And the side armor is very much a oh crap. Okay. So prior to this, it was a hammer shot. Okay. Because like it or not, a hammer shot is straightforward. Okay. If somebody's closing into the range that you need a shot, right? Pull it out, fire it. Okay, that's it, done. Right, okay. A single shot sidearm is really all you need because that's it. Okay, it's what you need. Anyway, as the situation was, circumstances in the house, so to speak, changed a little bit. Sarah lost her job all of a sudden. Okay, and because I had an excess of blasters that I just basically picked up over the time, sold almost everything. Okay, I sold basically everything except Sarah's custom Griffin, which in itself was previously Susie's custom Griffin, and Sarah just flat out said no, that's not going. Okay, that was Susie's. It's now mine, and no matter what happens, I'm keeping that. Okay. I, on the other hand, wasn't particularly attached to the Chimera. I loved it. It was great, fantastic, but I didn't feel the need to keep it. It was a case of I'd rather have the money. So took the Mighty Mam off, took the Pico shell off it, sold the blaster, and it's now with Paul M in Edinburgh, who absolutely loves it. And his son Jamie has got another Griffin.
The orange one.
He's got the orange
big
one.
Orange one, yeah.
He's got the big orange one, which is the 100 FPS one. Okay, which he takes along to the kids version.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly, and he loves it. With my birthday, Sarah basically got me a Nightingale, and to me, I found my pistol. Okay. So I have a green and black or teal and black, whatever it is, Nightingale, and it is my pistol. I love
Did
it
you
to
get
bits.
the semi or the full auto version?
I got the semi. Okay. And
Can
that's
we
where
just dwell on the fact that you just mentioned that
said
you've got a
semi.
semi there, Tartan tag, just because I'm a 42-year-old man-child. But you know,
Yeah, man child.
so there's an
I'm not
edit
letting
that
that
I'm
one
going to
go.
have to do.
Anyway.
There's an edit that I'm going to have to do. Yes.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, jeez. I knew I'd regret inviting you in this.
You're
So,
welcome.
yes. Okay. So the whole idea was I want when I get my loadouts or I design my loadouts, they're based around the idea that I'm looking for things for the purpose of video. Okay. I previously had a Swift. It was Swift. What was the really big sci-fi looking one that Workers
Yeah,
produced?
yeah,
Swift.
Work
Right,
Swift.
okay. So I had the Swift. Went down to Black Ops in 22, and basically found that long-range sniper battles, long range for Nerf that is, sniper battles, were boring as hell to actually video. Okay, and we don't have a great deal of high FPS matches in the UK calendar. Okay, there's Shack Attack done by Nerf Shack. Okay, and that's Reading. That's the other end of the country. Okay, that is not feasible for us, for Sarah and I to attend. Okay, so I'm very much focused around those sort of 130 CQB format because that's what we've got. We've got the depot, we've got Adams events. Okay, I'm not interested in having something that's really far off. Okay, and I found the Nightingale just to basically do everything I wanted it to do. So I was really happy just running a pistol. Okay, and then a couple of things happened. You gave me the Ultra Focus for Christmas. Okay, I handed it to Spectre for the purpose of a LiPo rewire because I cannot stand AA batteries. Okay, Spectre took it away, worked his magic, handed it back to me, and yes, it is a entirely adequate blaster. Few flaws with it. Okay, one, the magazines are god awful. Okay, there's no way around it. Okay, you compare the Slimline Nightingale magazine to the Ultra magazine, it is just useless. Okay, not easy to get in and out of pouches. Okay, it doesn't really fit into anything I've got. Okay, but it's also not something that I would see myself taking to Dishforth. Okay,
Yeah.
It is very much a blaster that I'm going to use at events that Adam tends to run because they are the events that use specialized ammo. Okay, so get a couple of magazine connectors. Okay, and have a set of three. Okay,
Jungle maggot.
Yeah, jungle mags.
I'm not familiar with the term, but
Two mags,
two
two mags, one upside
yeah.
down, one. Yeah, basically, so you can take your mag out and flip it, and you just tape them together. It's called a jungle mag.
Yeah, that one. Okay, or one of the things I'd seen on Etsy, which was magazine connectors, so you could have three of them in a line, bolted together with enough space that you could literally just take it out, shunt it along a bit, put it in. Okay, and that's fine. Because Sarah, okay, right, a little bit of background. I bought an Ultra 2 off the back of the Focus, okay, and it's too small for my hands. Shut up. So took it back, got another Focus, okay, got magazines off of Dave Anderson, as we discussed there, which Adam
Doodles.
arranged. Yep, exactly. Adam arranged for me, okay. So I've now got 9 magazines, okay. Sarah wants to get the other Ultra Focus. So the other Ultra Focus is now with Spectre for the purpose of getting rewired for WIPO, okay? So if we take 3 magazines, bolt them together, and have that as it, and she gets 3 magazines, we've got 3 spare, okay? We can just leave them at the spawn point, okay?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't need to carry anything, okay? I can literally put that on a sling, put it on my back, okay? And if I really need to, pull it out, and I've got access to it, okay? Yeah, exactly, okay? Because shield piercing, I didn't know any. Shields are not something that are very prominent.
Not anymore because Ultra came about.
Yeah. So I can I can see me absolutely utilizing it in a CQB environment for having something like an event Adams run where they're going to be it. But like at Dish Forth, it's not going to happen, okay? We might end up using these sort of things at the FTT Pro events, okay? Just because I can see it sort of potentially developing that way, okay? Maybe not, who knows, it's all up to Al and Dave, okay? But yeah, I don't consider myself an Ultra Bro, okay? Don't
Yes.
make me get the t-shirt, okay? Okay?
So the definition of Ultra Bro, for anyone not aware, is somebody who would use Ultra when it really shouldn't be used.
Or would choose Ultra over
Or would
another
choose
more
Ultra over
viable blaster.
more, yeah.
So, like for example, earlier when I said my Ultra Focus, I actually really enjoyed using it at Foxtrot to the point where I would consider using that as my primary at other events. Any one dual events, I absolutely would consider using a Focus or an amp as a primary, just because it's such a nice fire blaster, and it you know, it's not perfect.
How do you find the trigger pull, David? Because personally, I think the amp of Focus has one of the best trigger pulls there is.
Absolutely. We had this conversation on the Discord chat. The magazine release that comes with it features a plastic leaf spring. Spectre put in a proper spring, and it is butter smooth now to release a magazine. Okay, it doesn't gravity drop like the
I think
Nightingale.
Frodo has done as well.
Thoroughly
Frodo's done
recommend
a lever catch, so you can thumb it underneath, because currently the Ultra Focus has it's in the trigger well, so you have to use sort of the front of your index finger to depress the mag release. But Frodo's done one where you can kind of grab the mag and
I can't see me doing the lever release, especially if I want to do the three of them together, okay? Because I don't think it would really work. So yeah, I actually was considering, before I decided to bolt them together, I considered actually taking a Dremel to the outside of the case and smoothing it down as much as possible and seeing if I could do something about it. And I thought, no, I'll just simply get some duct tape or potentially get some 3D printed stuff, okay? But yeah, I love it. It is a lovely smooth trigger feel. The magazine release now is sorted. It is lovely. It's compact. I don't run it with the stock because I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Okay, but it's nice.
It is a really nice feel.
It is okay, and in terms of what's available, I think the general consensus was like the Phoenix. No, the Phoenix. Is it the Phoenix?
Yeah,
Pharaoh.
Yes.
Yeah,
so Pharaoh's
that's what
the sniper rifle, which I regret selling to Toodles.
And I want one of, but they're expensive now.
The Phoenix, the Pharaoh is lovely, but I really do think that if you're going to experiment with the idea of running Ultra, I would say the Focus is one of the best things to do with that. Okay. Now, because I was busy running around like a headless chicken during the event, Red Diamond done a lot of my refills for me, but he put in just any Ultra, so it was a little bit of a negative. Because you could sit at the tank and fire a dart through the train, okay, or you could hit all of the train, okay, and yeah, had I the foresight to say to him only use the red tips, probably would have given me a more positive experience. But lessons learned, okay. For my own, what the hell have I done to this damn thing? There we are. I have predominantly Ultra AccuStrike darts up here, which I've used for doing like the little filming of the video. And I think there was one, I think I picked up a box of normal Ultra by accident, but that'll be useful for doing a comparison. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the way it works is with the modded version, I got Ross at Fancy Impact to knock up an expanded battery door.
Tray.
Yeah, so the tray's just essentially got the section removed, and inside of it you can get the wires, but you can fit in a 900 2S or a Nightingale battery into it, the battery kit into the compartment easily. But for example, if I was wanting to, because the Nightingale battery is small, okay, you typically need two to run anything as a main. But as I put the 1300 3S into it, and it's lovely. Didn't get a chance to chrono it, which is what I would have liked to have done at the event. So I had some more numbers, but I think you said in principle I can't
About
see it being more than
I'm
about,
going to say it'll be around 115,
yeah, I mean, so it's too
which is
spicy.
1 joule.
Yeah, it's too spicy to take along to the local events, but it's still comfortably into the safe range for the 1 joule events. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to add to it. It's going to be a regular feature for the events coming down to the North England Adam events. A couple of things. One, what I done was once I got Ross to knock up the battery cage, I also got Ross to knock up this. This is the
micro booper.
The micro booper. So on here is the Pico booper,
Pico.
and here is a micro booper. So the whole idea is that I'm right-handed primarily, and you can load to you can't see this because it's damn thing, okay? But you can load in the shell, and it's just right at the thumb region, so you can comfortably have two, one there and one there, and it works very well. Still have problems with the Pico shells, okay, the 40 Max shells, okay. I replaced all of the seals. I put gas in them, left them overnight, and they maintained a charge, no leaks, okay. Fired them about 3 times a piece, and they started being faulty at the event, okay. And it's an infuriation for me, which I have never.
It's what stopped me buying into it.
It's to the point that now that you've actually given me that Ultra, I'm not saying thank you, so don't.
You're welcome, David. Regardless of whether you say thank you or not, you are welcome, my friend.
Okay.
That's another beep.
Bleep.
Right.
Just replace every beep with by Ultra.
Do it.
You get your soundbite afterwards, okay? So would I consider possibly just passing on the 40 Max shells now? It's definitely a consideration, okay? Because I originally got the Pico to compensate for the desire to not have multiple things, okay? It's not perfect, but it never is going to be, okay? The best you can have is a working solution, and I think this is giving me some real positive potential thoughts, okay? Now, as it is, the second thought is what I invested in with, just to quickly jump to another conversation, is I was considering what I could do with video for 2024, okay? As it is, I've got a GoPro Hero 10, I think it is, I've got, okay?
Yeah.
Baseball cap up here, okay? Does 4K video, 30 frames per second, provides good quality video, okay? But above a certain range, you don't really see. For example, to use the ones that we all know, standing at the tank, shooting into the train, you can see the shots, but unless it's a very clear hit recognition by the other player,
Target, yeah.
You're not really going to see if it's hit. Okay, so what I done was I invested in a scope cam, which hopefully should fit in. This is yep, it does. This is a scope cam 2 4K model, and it is the 25mm version, because there's two versions. There's a 40 and there's a 25. This is essentially a zoomed in GoPro. Okay, it's not as good because it doesn't have stabilization as normal. Okay, I would sit on top of it, and for example, I could put it on top of the Nightingale, put it on top of the Ultra focus, and I did do them. I haven't had a chance to review the video, but on a very quick look at it, okay, it's still very, very shaky, okay? Even with holding the Nightingale with both hands, doing that, you are getting movement, okay? And I can stick it through a stabilization program on Shotcut, but it's not as good as fixed stationary. Yeah, you are going to have some variation on it. Okay, you can compensate that by slowing down the video footage so you actually get the kill shot, okay, or the tag shot, which is what you're looking for. but I'm looking to see how I can really improve things. So one of the things that I was considering was, oh, what do we do? Do we move away from flywheels and go to springers, or do we go to full auto? Okay, and there's a full auto Nightingale, okay, which Adam has. I saw a couple of folk using it, I think, at the event, okay, and
yeah, Sturdy Nerf they had one as well.
you are going to have, just to assume, you're going to have a little bit of shudder when you initially pull the trigger, but after that, if you keep your hand steady, you should get a steady stream of darts, okay, which would reduce camera shake, okay, or you go to Springer. I don't like Springers, okay.
I think another issue you might not have thought of, or you may have thought of this, but you're gonna have shake when you pull the trigger on either blaster. But bear in mind, you've also got the vibration from the plunger head hitting the inside of the plunger tube on a Springer,
and
that's
move.
Particularly on the higher power blasters, you can feel almost what feels like recoil on some of the higher power blasters, and I think that may cause a bit of a shake.
You make a very good point, and something that I had actually considered. This one is still based around the CQB ranges. Okay, I think I shared a video trying this out. Okay, where I was standing 10 meters away from the target, and it was at 10 meters, which is a relatively decent flat engagement range for CQB. You're getting pretty good, but as I found out, if you were trying to shoot from, say, the jail to the tower, okay,
you're gonna
you have to arc your shots, okay. Now, the other problem that happens is that the shots don't have enough power at 130 to maintain a flat trajectory. You get drop off, okay, and this is lovely, but the shots basically start in the lower quarter of the video, okay, and drop off. Now, I have to test this, but the 1.5 or 2 degree riser, I want to see how that compensates for this, okay. I mean, to take it to an absolute stupid extreme, you're talking having to work out trigonometry on the fly to try and angle this thing to see where you're going. Oh, no. Okay, I want to just be able to maybe stick like the 2 degree on it and just simply say, right, okay, and it's fine. It's a big enough picture that you can sort of do it. Okay, this when you're moving your hands around, that's just stupid. That is. You're never going to get perfection. Okay, I'm going to have to recognize that what I would like to be able to produce as video is something that you could do with airsoft. You can't do it with Nerf. Okay, and I'm going to have to recognize that I'm going to have to have some give and take. Okay, but to go back to what I'm thinking, I'm inclined to say that I'll stick with flywheelers. Okay, rather than going to springers, because one of the things with Nerf is best will in the world, no matter how much you take a high FPS springer, you put a bearing scar on it, okay, you're still going to have anywhere up to like a
massive
2 feet
inaccuracy.
Yeah, you're going to have like a 2 feet spread, okay, as some of the people have been shown videos testing, okay, and with flywheelers that's going to be even worse, okay, but if all that really matters, if I'm going to miss with one, that'll be infuriating. But if I'm going to fire 6 shots and 7, even a magazine, and hit somebody, that counts. Accuracy through volume of fire,
The Samwise principle.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sort of thing. Okay. So yeah, I can see me sticking with flywheelers and just doing some real experimentation in regards to what it is. I can't see me moving away from a Nightingale though, okay? Because I love the form factor so much.
It is such a nice grip as well.
It is. It's a nice little blaster.
Gravity drop, mags, smooth, snappy trigger, lovely ergonomics, the ability to put on 3 or potentially
things. Yeah.
4 up to 6.
Yeah.
if you really sort of go overboard, okay. So you can have your mag walk, or you can have the worker thing that they do for the weird belt holster thing that they've released. Okay, it is essentially everything that I'm looking for. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do going forward. To loop back around to the photography side of things, when I've been, for anybody who's watching this that doesn't actually know, we've done an experiment with this particular event where I wanted to try stationary multi cameras. Okay, now I've got a GoPro, okay, but they're £400 a time. Okay, I didn't mind spending that for one, but I couldn't afford to buy multiples. So what we done was I used my mobile, which was a Samsung S22. I used Sarah's old mobile, because she's also got an S22, but I used Sarah's old mobile, which is a brand I cannot pronounce, and I'm not going to try. Okay, and we set them up on sort of like grippy tripods. Okay, and you've both seen the footage, and Samwise, you might have seen it as well. There is quite a difference between my camera and Sarah's camera. Okay, but Sarah's also got the S22, and whilst the Sarah's old mobile, the battery life lasted a lot longer. I was down to about 40% halfway through the event. Okay, but get a power pack, plug it in, prevent that drainage. Okay, it's easy just to spend what, 10 quid, 15 quid on a power pack. Okay, cable, put them in. Okay, and I would like to do that. One of the things from the footage was so that you can get some cracking angles, and you can get some things where it's just a waste of time. You know.
I think it's all
As I
about
say,
placement, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very much about placement. I experimented with static cameras back in the very early days of Grim Nerf and Wolfpack, and it really does come down to figuring out where the action's going to be that day. And you get an event where it might be totally different, even though the month before it was fine. My worry with doing with mobile phones is they are very expensive that you don't want to get knocked off by a burst of rival. Yeah.
There was a few times when the camera that's put on top of the water container,
By the comms center,
yeah, the one that caught me falling over. Okay, there's a few times where it does rattle because the shot's coming in and hitting it. Okay, but surprisingly, roll of duct tape. You know.
Yeah.
You know,
if you take your tripod down, they shouldn't fall over. And again, it depends on how good the grip of the tripod to the camera is. If it's the sort of the spring-loaded ones, they may not be as reliable. But again, there's nothing to stop you taping the phone in as long as you're not covering the lens, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's something where I would like to repeat the experiment, but I would go and try and position the cameras at higher angles. I genuinely wish that I'd actually taken a roll of duct tape with me and actually put one of the cameras at the top of the comms tower. Yeah. Okay.
Or the comms tower,
yeah. And just angled it right at the side, so it wasn't in the road of anybody. Stick it across the side, angle it, and it would have caught potentially, the comms outpost to. If you'd angled it a certain way, you could have got a decent field of view, and if you'd repeated it on the other side, and maybe put it up on top of what is now out of commission axe throwing building, okay, and put it up there and sort of angled it in such a way you could have got quite a decent thing, okay, but that involves having people being okay with you putting duct tape onto their buildings and everything else.
Okay, that extra setup time of getting it up there and
getting it down again,
and setting it going every round.
Yeah,
so you've got to suddenly reach up and.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. Okay, it's something I hope that people will respond positively to, because I think people got more chance to see, or rather, I'm talking about this in past tense, but of the video that I'm producing, I'm trying to really highlight it down to just essentially shots of people doing things. Okay. Even if that is just running across, because they say, hey, that's me, I would like to do it again. I don't think it's something I would go and, for example, say invest in cheap action cameras. But if maybe I find a couple of GoPros going cheap on eBay,
yeah.
not necessarily Hero 10s. I think like the Hero 8 basically features sort of like most things that I'd be looking for, and you can maybe pick those up for £100 sort of thing, okay? Whereas one of these is £600-700, so unless I win the lottery, I don't see me doing it with any degree of complexity. But I think it's something that I would like to do because I think people like seeing themselves at events, because the photographs go down well, even though, for example, because it is a hill that I will die on, okay, you need to have video and photographs of events, okay? Even though, for example, I put them up, okay, there's maybe 24 to 36 hours worth of like notifications where it appears on people's feeds and whatnot, okay, and then it disappears into the void, that's fine. But for the people that want it, they get the picture, they save it, maybe it goes on a Facebook profile, or show it to your work colleagues, in the case of Adam, who has a brilliant new picture of him going, all right, okay. But yeah, I don't mind that it basically is a lot of effort and no payoff, because for the people that really want the payoff, really, really want it, it means a lot to them,
And
I think
from a game organizer's point of view, I find taking photos really difficult because I'm doing all that other stuff of like getting everybody sorted for a round, getting the props around ready, getting my own gear ready, but I haven't got the time to go and do photos. So I really appreciate when somebody's done a photo, done a video.
And I don't consider myself a photographer. I consider myself a player who has a camera, okay? Because I'm there to play and take pictures second. Which is like, for example, I don't sit out during a round. I'll sit out during HVZ because it doesn't matter, okay? And I'll get the picture at the end. I would have maybe snapped a couple of pictures of the people gearing up, but we've know why that we didn't do that. That was a fair conversation that we had in regards to that, and I respect that, but it's one of the things that I would have done, or done something else, just to basically provide more things. Because even like Lasermania Bradford, where we went, I'll tag them in the post and they'll share it, so they benefit from it, so but it is something that not everybody wants to do. But I don't do modding, I don't do building. This is my hobby thing that I do, okay? So and we all agree, you nerf, you integrate, you interact with the hobby in the way that you feel comfortable doing. So yeah, that's basically probably for me going forward, is doing a good portion of experimentation. I will do a proper video of the ultra focus, okay? I think there is I think there's a slightly blasphemous approach that we'll probably be taking to it, but I think that's something where I might actually possibly get you two involved in it, okay? So we'll see where that goes, okay? Now, that's basically me. I've rambled on for like 20 minutes there. Anything else, chaps?
Plans for the year ahead, or plans at least for the next few months. We've got Dishfith in 2 weeks. So the first up north higher FPS event, I'm going to try and bus it there. A, to use my Swift that I got for Secret Santa. B, to try and figure out if I've fixed the slab. And C, because Dishfith's a really nice venue.
It is. It's a phenomenal venue.
I'm also going to try and get there as well, just because I've got my lovely purple Stephen, also known as a worker seagull, with the purple mag that Adam very kindly gave me as part of my Secret Santa. I've now got 7 of them, so I've got a full load of 15 round purple worker seagull mags that I can do. So I've got 6+1. I've got the big spring in, so it's about a 190, 200 FPS. range, so it will be a good little christening for that blaster. And I can also take a couple of sidearms and a couple of flywheelers that I've got in the process as well. But it's all about whether I can get there and get a hotel the night before, because for me, a 9 o'clock start is just, I wouldn't be able to get there in time. So I'm looking at that myself.
Samwise, what are you thinking?
Oh, in terms of the event,
In terms of a year
No, the
ahead.
future.
the year ahead, I mean, whatever I can get to, I will. A lot of the events seem to be happening further north. I know there are a couple that are down here. I think I saw there's one possibly in Royal Holloway. That's
So
coming up.
there's Foam Fest coming up in summer. There will be probably Davidoff's Saturday Skirmish restarting in North London, I think. You've got Nerf Shack stuff, which shouldn't be too difficult for you guys to get to. There'll be more caves. And then beyond that,
I think Stuart mentioned more Grim Up Nerf
more
events.
Grim Up Nerf, but
yeah.
that's relating on Just a Jolt.
Yeah, he said he's got to update Just a Jolt with some of the more modern developments in the nerfing technology world. Was Stuart's that's paraphrasing what Stuart said, but essentially, yeah, we're looking at new Grim Up Nerf events with different ammo types going forward. So that would be good, because that one's brilliant to get the kids involved. It's got, you know, all ages, and you tend to have a 100 FPS event, and then one for 14 plus, which is up to one duel. So you get that nice little mix of kids running around like absolute lunatics, enjoying themselves, and then old men taking it far too seriously in the afternoon, which is right up my street.
Yeah. I think that basically covers everything for the chat this evening, guys. Any last minute things that you can think of? In fact, actually, I will. Okay. One thing that I jotted down here just right at the start, okay? All the way back to the start of the conversation there, Adam. A question for you, if I may. Okay?
Yeah, go on.
It's nothing particularly complicated. You said that the event Foxtrot, that you thought 22 was about too much. Okay, just a touch on a bit too much in terms of player density. Okay. Now, one of the things I remember seeing on a YouTube video by somebody in America whose name completely escapes me at this point in time, okay, is the idea of a respawn time penalty. Okay. Now, for something like to take Foxtrot as an example, okay, you get tagged out halfway up the field, okay, you can be 10 seconds to walk back, hit the wall, 10 seconds to go back in, or 20 seconds, okay? What if you added a minute, okay? You know, or not even 30 seconds.
A minute would be a long time.
Yeah, that's
Your issue would be is policing it. Counting to 10. Yeah. Counting to 10, I already know we've got people who maybe do it for 3 seconds and carry on. So would it take you too far out of the game? Would that be almost like that thing of Kill Confirmed, where having that 30-second downtime is just that little bit too long? I don't know. We could try it.
Yeah, I think it would be worth trying for the purpose of experimentation, okay? Because if you have a particularly heavy number there, it's easy to add in on the fly, okay? It's a case of, right, everybody's turned up with rival full auto nemesis, whatever, right? Okay, well, you know, everybody brings basically full auto everything, okay, and there's going to be just walls of ammunition,
yeah.
Okay, right? Yeah, sure, okay. Let's try and balance that out, okay? Instead of saying you can't take that blaster, let's say, right, you get tagged, you've got an extra 30 seconds on top of that, okay? You lay down fire, you walk out, you knock an entire flank of defenders out, okay? You've got 30 seconds of time to reposition your attacking team, okay? That can shift the battle quite greatly, you know? On something like, for example, at Dishforth, okay, where walking back to your spawn can easily be, you know, a minute, okay?
Yeah.
And that's great because you've got zero downtime, because instead of sitting there reloading your mags at the spawn point, you're reloading your mags
as you go.
as you walk. Yeah, okay. And therefore that compensates for that, okay? But you know, and something where it's going to be particularly fast-paced, maybe adding a time penalty would encourage players to play a bit more conservatively, okay, a bit more
To
tactically.
be honest, the way we could do it would be maybe like we do with American HVZ, where they respawn on like 5-minute intervals. So we could do a 30-second beeper. So every 30
Ooh.
seconds it beeps. If you respawn at the next beep.
Yeah, that's a way of doing it. It's easy enough to put a timer in and basically just have it ticking over at that.
Beep
Okay?
every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Some things for me to look into.
Yeah. Anything else, chaps?
Well, useless
Okay.
information. My hat arrived. Well, not on time for the event, but it's here
I
now.
also like no one's acknowledged the ears yet.
We did have a couple of comments at Foxtrot, and I realised this is letting people into a little kind of secret world that we kind of had, but the guys that are in this current conversation decided that we were going to turn up at Foxtrot with cat ears and just not say anything. So, and I'm sure David's going to reappear with cat ears, but yeah, we sort of made a point of not acknowledging the cat ears. So apologies to anyone that did approach us at Foxtrot and say, "What's with the ears?" If we just went, "Don't know what you're talking about, mate." It was a bit of an in joke.
We should have just looked at them and gone, meow.
Yes, we should. In hindsight, that would have been brilliant. But yeah, that was the kind of joke, and I'm obviously keeping that up to date, borrowing my girlfriend's earphones. They are my girlfriend's, honest, promise. But yeah, so that was the whole the thing with the cat ears for anyone who was at Foxtrot. And there we go.
Can't see
Oh, your
Sarah's
ears are
ears.
They're
just phasing
becoming
out of
aurora.
existence.
Did she purposely do one in different directions?
There you go. Okay. Made in about 10 minutes by Sarah. You know, didn't tell her the rationale behind it. Just went, "You need to make cat ears." All right. Okay. You know.
Spot on. So yeah, that was the cat ears at Foxtrot, if anyone's wondering, and that's why I'm rocking them now, and so is
Yeah.
Adam.
I think that sort of was a bit hit and miss because I think one person fed back to me that somebody else inquired to them. They said, "I have no idea," and it caused a bit of friction. So I think possibly we didn't quite stick the landing on that one, guys. But,
No,
you know,
possibly not.
no. And just because I happen to be up and on my feet.
Oh, here we go. Yep. And he's
Oh
disappeared.
dear, it's an invisible shirt.
Yeah.
Just because I could. I really should probably just turn off the background for that one, but you know, this is Sarah's craft room and it's just chaotic goblin status. Okay. Thank goodness she doesn't watch these videos because otherwise I'd have gotten crap for that. You know.
Bleep.
Yeah. No bleeping that one, okay? Because I mean that she thinks it said something even worse, okay? And no. No, I don't want to sleep on the couch, you know? Right, okay. I think we have more or less reached the end of the conversation, guys. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, apart from you, Brendan, you know, because you know why. Okay. But just want to say thank you guys for taking part of this, okay? If you want to know any more, add them up. If you want to know any more about the rules that he was running, anything about the events that he does, sort of things, okay, he's a wealth of information. I'm more than happy to share it for any potential game organizers. We did do a video on this previously where he was part of it, and he was very keen on imparting any information to anybody willing to do so. Okay, now,
Or unwilling.
so we'll just wrap up there, guys. Any other viewers, stay safe. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.